Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Zeducation, and welcome to another That Didn't Age Well episode. This is our longest running series on this channel. Here on this series, we highlight hypocritical and lying politicians, mainstream media, and celebrities and entertainers. Because for some of us, it is hilarious. It's hilarious to see them think they're getting away with the lies, when just generally a year, sometimes just a few months ago, they say completely opposite things. But this is the game in Washington, D.C., and at this point, all we can do is laugh at it. And today we have a lot to go over. A lot of economic stuff. We have Matthew McConaughey. And one of the funniest clips I've seen in a long time, an electric vehicle clip, asked how this is powered through the energy grid. We're going to get to that. It's really funny, I promise you. But first, before we get to today's video, if you are new to this channel, please make sure you are subscribed and have the bell clicked for notifications when new videos are uploaded. Now, on to today's list of things that didn't age well. Number 10. Number 10, we got to start with Amber Heard. I know we're a few weeks removed. She's still on the campaign trail trying to save face. She's trying to control the narrative. It's not working. She lost. But this is the article that got her in trouble. Check this out. Washington Post from Amber Heard in 2018. I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change. And now on that article on the Washington Post, there is a correction. It's hilarious. Check this out. Editor's note, June 2nd, 2022. In 2019, Johnny Depp sued Amber Heard for defamation arising out of this 2018 op-ed. A jury found Heard liable on 3 counts for following statements. She lied 3 times in that article. You published that, Washington Post. No surprise. And she got sued for it. Millions of dollars. That did not age well. Love to see it. Number 9. Number 9. We go to politicians. Dog whistling for violence. May 9th, Lori Lightfoot. To my friends in the LGBTQ+ community, the Supreme Court is coming for us next. This moment has to be a call to arms. We will not surrender our rights without a fight to victory. A call to arms, wow. I wonder if some nut jobs out there are gonna take that seriously. Let's take a look at Chuck Schumer. What did he say?
I want to tell you, Gorsuch. I want to tell you, Kavanaugh. You have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
You will pay the price. Dog whistling. They like to do this all the time. They do this all the time. Just before we move on, term limits, 1, and we should probably get age limits in there as well. And I fully stand behind that. There needs to be an age limit where you can't serve anymore. There has to be. We have like people in their 80s losing their faculties, making decisions here. They're also dog whistling too. Do they even know what they're saying? Anyways, this is what happened as a result of that dog whistling.
Pay attention to this. This has just happened. Law enforcement sources are confirming to Fox that an armed man was arrested near the Maryland home of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. That happened early this morning. These are just the reports that we're getting in. And Sean, we know that the justices, there were protests outside of their homes. We know that those were encouraged. And of course, nobody was encouraging violence.
Yeah, sorry, Dana. Washington Post is now reporting a bit more. When he was in custody, he shared with police his desire to kill Kavanaugh. Wow. This according to the Post now. The individual I mentioned described, mid-20s, a man, found to be carrying at least 1 weapon and burglary tools.
So to the Washington Post credit, they did report on this guy saying he wanted to kill the Supreme Court justice. But again, no politicians dog whistled. No one said, this is a call to arms. Nobody said that. Get out of there. No. Number 8. Or this one, we go to a fun one. Well, it's kind of fun one. A couple of guys in Houston, they walked into a liquor store and they tried to steal a $4,000 bottle of cognac. But these idiots, they stole a fake bottle and a box that was empty. They stole 2 things and they were both replicas. They were both fakes. So unfortunately for them, they didn't get their $4,000 bottle of liquor. And they're going to jail. And another one from Houston. Check this out. Houston man raps about robbing ATMs on YouTube, later arrested after allegedly robbing an ATM. So we're seeing an increased crime rate here since the whole COVID situation. And stupid crimes too. But what are you doing? What are you doing?
Idiots.
Number 7. June is the corporate pandering month. We know this. There's a lot of ad dollars out there. And if you don't do that, you might get canceled by certain groups for not changing your logo. We know this. FIFA, they were one of these corporations, one of these organizations that they did change their logo. Here's what they had to say. Pride Month during June is a celebration for the LGBTQIA+ community. Today has also been one of celebration at the home of FIFA. Find out more, as well as how FIFA is working to ensure the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 will be a celebration of unity and diversity. So they in this same tweet, they talk about Qatar, where they are bringing the World Cup. And in Qatar, homosexuality is illegal and gay marriage is also not legal. Homosexuality is actually punishable by death. Isn't it a bit hypocritical, FIFA? You're pro June, but you're also pro money in Qatar. Doesn't make sense. I think you're the wrong messenger here, FIFA. Number 6. Ooh, this is one of my favorites. Inflation. Inflation, it was transitory. Remember that? Stay tuned for the end of this video, by the way. I have a nice little compilation for you of a lot more of these people. But let's focus on Biden and Yellen. So Yellen in 2021 said the stimulus is unlikely to cause inflation problem. And now here's Yellen today.
I do expect inflation to remain high, although I very much hope that it will be coming down now.
Okay, let's go to Biden now. July of 2021. This was tweeted out by Forbes. Here's the video.
Yeah, there's nobody suggesting there's unchecked inflation on the way. No serious economist.
Nobody is suggesting inflation is on the way. No serious economist. Anyone with a high school macroeconomics class under their belt that maybe even got a C in it knows that when you print a lot of money, it's not good. That's what you guys did, and now we're seeing it. Everyone predicted it. So there's only two explanations. You're lying, or you're grossly incompetent, or maybe, well, there's a third one. It's on purpose, but we'll leave that for another time. But this is you now. We're gonna live with this inflation for a while, Biden said at a Democratic fundraising event in Beverly Hills. And again, some more on this. U.S. inflation quickens to 40-year high, pressuring Fed and Biden. How? How are you guys so wrong? How? No serious economists. Nobody has it on their radar. We couldn't see it coming. It's transitory. It was supposed to be. You guys are swamp. The swamp is alive and well. Nice little flashback here as well. Yellen, I don't believe the next financial crisis will be in our lifetime. That's from 2017. I have a feeling this one's going to come back up on a future episode, because I think we might have already started the next financial crisis. Maybe, I don't know. Number 5. CNN, December 2021. Gas prices will tumble below $3 a gallon soon, government forecasts. Also, December of 2021, Democrats tweeted out, thanks, Biden, for saving, what is this, 2 cents? This was on a previous episode, too. Biden saved 2 cents for you, just like he saved you some money on 4th of July, the 16 cents or 6 cents, whatever they saved you. He's fixing prices, guys. He was doing it then, the 2 cents. He celebrated a little bit early, though. A little bit early. Because, as we already talked about, national average price of gas in the U.S. surpassed $5 a gallon for the first time ever. Biden gets to own that now. That's his. It's also important to note that only a fraction of U.S. oil and gas comes from Russia. So little, in fact, that if we open up the production here in America, it can compensate for that easily. So it's not the Putin price hike. It's not. It contributes to it, but it's not all that at all. It was going up beforehand. Why was it $100 a barrel before Russia went into Ukraine? They have failed to explain that thus far. I also want to say, though, Biden promised this. This is what he promised in the 2020 election. He promised this.
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated. No more drilling on federal lands. No more drilling, including offshore. No ability for the oil industry to continue to drill, period. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel.
What about, say, stopping fracking and stopping new pipeline infrastructure?
Exactly. No new fracking.
We are going to get rid of fossil fuels.
I've argued against any more oil drilling or gas drilling on federal lands.
No one's going to build a coal-fired plant again, and we're going to get rid of the ones we have now.
Have a transition from the oil industry, yes.
Would you be willing to sacrifice some of that growth, even knowing potentially that it could displace thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of blue-collar workers in the interest of transitioning to that greener economy?
The answer is yes.
So he promised lower production out of his own mouth, but they forget that now. They're so desperately trying to change that narrative. Doesn't work, sadly. Number 4, back to the mainstream media and this spin and this double standard they have, obviously, as a great example of that. We go to The Atlantic. When under Trump, Jamal Khashoggi was murdered by Saudi Arabia, and they criticized him, as they should have. Trump should have been criticized for that because we were still in bed with Saudi Arabia. For Trump, the truth about Jamal Khashoggi is beside the point. Another article, the brutal truth behind Trump's love affair with Saudi Arabia. Another one, the end of American lip service to human rights. Human rights, man. Human rights. Which actually is a big deal because Saudi Arabia is one of the worst offenders of human rights, and we are huge trade partners with them. Our dollar is tied to their oil. We totally turned a blind eye to that. We do. All politicians do. But now, when it's Biden doing the same thing, turning a blind eye to Saudi Arabia and the horrific things they do, this is what The Atlantic says. Biden is right about Saudi Arabia. Biden's right, guys. Oh, yeah. Don't worry about the human rights now. Only when Trump was president do we call that out. Now it doesn't matter. Biden's right. He's totally right. Double standard, mainstream media, this is what they do. We've come to expect nothing less from them. Again, this is hilarious. These people think that they're serious. They want to be taken seriously by the public, and they give us reason after reason after reason after reason not to. It's hilarious. Number 3, we go to Defiant L's, one of the best Twitter accounts on Twitter. When they've compiled this little doozy right here. Check this out. This Twitter account tweeted in 2018, the price of gas has risen 26% in the past year, thanks to Trump's bumbling foreign policies and allegiance to Putin. Trumpers are unfazed, chalking it up as the cost of being racists. Huge brain right here. Just an absolute giant brain on this person. And now, point proven on this giant brain of theirs. This is what they have to say. In June of 2022, presidents don't control gas prices, but you know who does? The Republican smooch and fossil fuel industry. So it's the president's fault in 2018, not the president's fault now, because presidents don't do that anymore, according to this guy. 4 years later. It's Republicans though. Let's deflect blame elsewhere. Huge brain. Huge. Number 2, the gun debate. It has come full circle. This happens with every issue. It gets worn out. They use it to get people emotionally charged, generally in election years, like this year. Try to get them to the polls, and it dies out, and then it comes back in the next election year. So, Matthew McConaughey, he's trying to take advantage of this. He went to the White House, and there's a speech of him. Watch in full. Matthew McConaughey's impassioned plea for gun control. Need some gun control, guys. Gun control, which will not actually stop any crime from taking place. So when the next crime does happen, they'll implement more gun control laws. And that's the thought, right? The slippery slope, which is what will happen. There's no debating that. So Matthew McConaughey, he's pro-gun control. He wants this. He's gone to the White House to even grandstand. Didn't take any questions, just grandstand, taking advantage of the opportunity. One of the lessons of dirty politics, never waste an opportunity. And I just wanted to point out to you guys that this is the same Matthew McConaughey in his movies. Same guy. Same guy promoting guns. You know, a little bit funny, right? A little bit hypocritical. No, Matthew? Huh? A little bit? That's you right there, right? Promoting guns. Now I don't know. You're going to take away your movies too? We just needed a statement on this, please, on this little compilation here. While we are on guns, we have to go over this glorious That Didn't Age Well example. So Tank Sinatra tweeted out a while ago, actors, we have a gun problem in this country. Also actors doing the same thing, pointing out the hypocrisy that we just pointed out with Matthew McConaughey. And guess who responded to that? Alec Baldwin himself. Many actors have made a significant effort to reduce gun violence in films. Yikes. Don't laugh at that, guys. Don't laugh at that. Number 1. I had to put this as number 1 today. This is one of my favorite clips of all time. A representative from GM is showing off electric cars. I mean, I have nothing against electric cars, but I think a lot of what we see today with electric cars is mostly virtue signaling because they're trying to force it down people's throats, shift away. Again, I don't think that's a bad thing, but the problem is we aren't able to do that quite yet. There are a lot of other things that get ignored, like where the power in our energy grid comes from. Check this out. This is gold.
I'm really grateful to be here today, and in fact, this is a chance for me to say thank you more formally. The Chevy Volt is upstairs. We'll be able to take a look at it. We got about 1,000 photos.
Yeah. Is it plugged? It's as simple as that.
The batteries are in the trunk?
No, the battery in this particular design is a T shape right down the center and across the back seat area. Because everybody thought we killed the electric vehicle. No, we didn't. It's alive and well.
So what's charging the batteries right now? What's the source of
Well,
electricity?
here, it's coming from the building.
I mean, is it, what's our mix of power?
Oh, actually, Lansing feeds the building.
What's that?
Lansing feeds power to the building. So I don't know.
They're,
I bet you they're a bit of coal. They're heavy on natural gas, aren't they?
right now the car's charging off of your grid?
Right. It would be charging off our grid, which is about 95% coal.
95% coal. So this electric car is being fueled by electricity, but the electricity is being fueled by 95% coal. So that car is being fueled by coal. So really, it's only making you feel good as a consumer driving an electric car. So how about you fix that first? It's just a little bit funny, guys. Just a little bit, all right? What do you think about today's video? Again, I have another little bit of a compilation for you guys on these swampy politicians in Washington, D.C. trying to control the narrative and failing miserably on inflation. So we'll get to that here after this. But again, let me know what you think about today's video down in the comments. What was your favorite example? What was your least favorite example? While you're down there, please like this video. Please help me get it recommended to others. That's it for today's video. Until next time, I'm Tyler Zed, and this is Education.
I really doubt that we're going to see an inflationary cycle.
Most economic analysts believe that it will have a temporary or transitory impact.
The faster than expected increase in some of those prices is actually a good sign.
The overwhelming consensus is going to pop up a little bit and then go back down. No one's talking about this great,
This is something that will settle down.
Transitory.
Transitory.
And the data shows that most of the price increases we've seen were expected and are expected to be temporary. There's nobody suggesting there's unchecked inflation on the way. It's highly unlikely that's going to be long-term inflation that's going to get out of hand. I don't know anybody who's worried about inflation.
Over the last couple of months, we actually saw it trended downward.
President Biden's chief of staff, Ron Klain, enthusiastically retweeted an economist who had said in part most of the economic problems we're facing, inflation, supply chains, etc., are high-class problems.
What is the Granholm plan to increase oil production in America?
Oh my God. That is hilarious. Well, the number one thing that the president can do is help get COVID under control. That we know is the root cause of inflation.
President Biden this afternoon saying he thinks we're at the peak of the crisis right now and that lower prices are on the way.
The inflation has everything to do with the supply chain. Make no mistake, inflation is largely the fault of Putin. I'm going to do everything I can to minimize Putin's price hike here at home.
If you want to get rid of inflation, the only way to do it is to undo a lot of the Trump tax cuts.
I think ever since you've come into office, things are really looking up. You know, gas is up, rent is up, food is up, everything.
Idiots.